All right, how's it going, everybody? It's Nick Atkin here. One Championship News. It's been a while since we did one of these, and I genuinely don't know where to start. Well, I'm going to start by doing my button up. That's totally unnecessary on a live stream. Uh, no, I'm back home. I know it's been a while since I did one of these. I think maybe it was a month ago. That might be generous, but I think about a month ago, maybe when Cameron Nabati had his suspension. I think that's the last one I did. I was just checking through my graphics as I was making my new graphic, and I didn't even know where to begin with the graphic because there's so much things to discuss. So I put Chatri on there, and I put Rodtang on there, and I put Noiri on there, but I could have put so many other things on there. So many things happened at 172 in Saitama Super Arena. Luckily enough, I was there. It was a great show, incredible show. In the conversation for the best show one have ever done. I think it's fair to say, just with everything involved, but also some downsides with the pay-per-view element and the website crashing. We'll get into all that, but also plenty of positives. Some incredible finishes, some huge shocks. We'll get into all of it. Rodtang knocking out Takeru in 80 seconds. Who saw that coming? Tawan Chai getting TKO'd by Masaki Noiri. Who saw that coming? Yuya Wakamatsu TKOing Adriana Moraes. Who saw that coming? So many shocks. There's so many things I haven't even mentioned there, but we will get into it. We will do it all. And then there's even more drama at the post-fight press conference with Chatri mainly shitting all over Kaito. Kaito's team were not happy, and just before I was about to start this podcast, I was going to start an hour earlier, but then I saw Chatri had issued a statement and an apology to Kaito, retracting his comments from the press conference. When do we ever see that? Chatri apologizing? It's a rare one. You know, he's a man who often sticks by whatever he does and says. So incredible, a real gem, a rarity there. We'll get into what he said at the press conference, what Kaito said. There's so much to discuss, but first of all, welcome everyone tuning in and thanks for watching. I'm glad to be back. I'm still a bit tired. You might be able to tell. All these bags under my eyes. Yeah, I got back yesterday. Was it yesterday? Oh no, Monday. I don't even know what day it is. Honestly, what the day is right now. Is it Tuesday? Yeah. So I did get back yesterday. What time? I got back last night, and then basically just slept. I was so tired. And today I put out a few stories already. You may have seen them on BangkokPost.com. Please go and check those out. Which we will also discuss some of those stories. I think one of those big ones is the gate, the live gate. One Championship drew a gate of $2 million, their largest ever in Japan, I'm told. 15,000 fans. So, yes, a fiasco with the pay-per-view stuff, but some very solid numbers for them in terms of a live gate. We'll get into all of that. Welcome. I trust this is the real Liam Harrison. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, Liam. And yes, outrageous scenes from start to finish, as Liam says. It really was outrageous. I hope that's real, Liam. So sometimes I get some fighters coming on, and then, well, they say they're fighters, but it's just not them. But I think this looks like Liam. But yes, yeah, it's just, he says it's him. Well, you'd say that if you were a fake Liam anyway. But no, I'm going to trust you. Good to see Liam, and great to see Liam's coming back to One Championship. They announced his fight against Solin U in Denver, so I can't wait to go to Denver again. Already shaping up nicely. Sounds like Rodtang and Haggerty maybe on that card. That's what Chatri said. Rodtang and Haggerty is next for those two. We'll get into it. It may be in them, it may not. I've heard it might be. Chester asking Liam to join the show. He's always welcome. I don't know what he's doing right now, but that would be fireworks, yeah, to discuss. You have an open invite, Liam, but he may just be chilling, doing something else. So don't worry. So many comments. Good to see a sold out Saitama Super Arena Flaming Mo. What I was told is 95% sold out from the allocation they had, which was I think around 15,000 something or over that. All right, well Liam Liam can join. I'll send him a link. That's a bonus for all of you. Yeah, we'll get Liam's thoughts on the show. I'm sure he'll say it better than me. All right, how do I'll send it to your Instagram, Liam, or your Twitter, or something like that. I'll send you on Instagram DM. 1 second. This is gonna be great, isn't it? Okay, Liam Harrison joining the show. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. I think I already saw some of the stuff that he was saying, mostly about Superlek, but I get all his thoughts. All right, I'm sending you here, Liam. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is that working? Yeah. No, there it is. Yeah, you should have it now. Okay. Back to it. Okay, I'll read some comments then. You know, I'm terrible with technology, Liam. Oh, so am I, Liam. I'm not very good, but if I can do it, you can. Yeah. You should have the link in your Instagram DMs now. Let's talk about Superlek versus Nabil. 2 alive, Brad asking. This is going to be great. Keith, I agree. The Hitman is coming in. But yes, thanks for everyone joining me, and great to see everyone back on the show. I know it's been a while. Apologies, I haven't done this for a while. I keep meaning to do it, but I've been traveling a lot. I've been going all over the world. I went to Qatar and then went to London straight after that. Literally straight after, went to the airport. Had to see my mum. Haven't been back for a while. Then I went pretty much straight to Bangkok for Fight Night 29. Then I came back to Hong Kong and then to Japan. But here he is, the Hitman, Liam Harrison.
Yo.
Impromptu chat with you, Liam. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I've got about 20 minutes and then I've got some stuff to do because I'm in America teaching seminars. But yeah, I've got a few minutes to chat.
All right, well, dive straight in then. What do you want to talk about first from 1172?
Oh, mate, you give me mate. There's so many different subjects here. There were drama, there was amazing fights, there were pay-per-view scandals, and there were all sorts going on. One, you get started, mate, and I'll just chip in with my 2 pence worth.
All right, well, let's start with I saw you were kind of getting into it with about Superlek and the weight miss situation there, and why Nabil wasn't the new champion. What was your take on all that?
I felt a bit sorry for Nabil. I don't get why he wasn't just given the 5-round fight and then crowned champion. I felt a bit sorry for him. Obviously, he's worked his ass off, and then to get it taken away like that last minute, I'm not quite sure what were going on until then. Chatri said afterwards, Superlek wasn't even going to fight. Listen, I've spoke to a few people in Superlek, Kang. I don't think he should have took that fight. I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but I've spoke to a few people. It's not my place to say on anything, do you know what I mean? But I don't think he should have even been fighting. It proved that in his performance. Now, whether he was 100% or not, would he have beaten Nabil that night? I don't know, because Nabil looked unbelievable. His last 2 or 3 fights, he looks like he's sort of like grown into his frame at 145. And I never really thought he had any snap in his shots before. He was really tall, good knees, awkward to fight. But now, when his shots connect, there's a horrible snapping noise at the end of him. You can tell he's got some serious power now. And for someone with that tall frame, they shouldn't really have that power. It don't really make sense to me. Like it showed it against Kulabdam, and then against Nico, and then against Superlek. And that's first time Superlek's ever been given an 8 count in about 150 fights, I think. So yeah, he's. Do you know what? Fair play to Nabil. He's because I wrote him off against Nico. I thought Nico would be too strong, but like I said, I don't mind being proved wrong, especially when it's a performance like that. And he's a young, hungry kid. He works his ass off, and he seems just like it comes across as just a nice kid as well. Do you know what I mean? So if anyone, Superlek's my friend. Obviously, he's a former training partner. And I was speaking to a few people, and we are going to get together in a couple of months and do some more training together. But if anyone was going to beat him, I'm glad it was Nabil, because he works hard and he's He's yeah, he deserves it, to be fair. But I don't think Superlex should have even taken that fight. I'm sure the reasonings will come out and stuff like that afterwards, but I don't want to repeat what people have told me who were close to him because it's not my place. But yes, but still, you can't take it away from Nabil. I'm not sure anyone in that division is going to be able to beat him. He's just going to be an absolute nightmare for anyone. Maybe 100% Superleg probably can, but anyone else, I just don't see how they'll get near him, how they'll get past the snap on the end of his punches. And if they do get past his punches, then they're going to walk straight on to getting kneed in the face and stuff like that. Yeah, he's a nightmare, mate.
And Chatri said after the show that they're going to book a 5-round rematch trilogy for the title. But a lot of people are still confused why Nabil isn't already the champ. He was interim champ. He's not been promoted. Chatri said Superleg refused to fight if the title was in line. This sounds crazy to me. But what do you?
Surely though, but like Chatri's the boss. Surely he could have just said, "All right, don't fight." Paid Nabil, not paid Superleg, and then just upgraded. But obviously they needed the fight on the card, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? So it's an hard one, really. But like I said, it's again, like if we're going to get treated to another a 5-round fight like it should be now, when 100% fit Superleg turns up, who's hungry and firing on all cylinders, because in round 3 I think he could sort of tell that he didn't want to be there. He would just going through the motions. Nabil was miles ahead, and Superlet wasn't even trying. He wasn't kicking. There was no like game plan or anything. But like I said, it looked like he didn't want to be there. But there's a reasoning for that as well that I've heard from people behind the scenes and stuff. But obviously, that's not my place to go into it. So hopefully, we get a 5-round rematch, and we see a hungry, 100% fit Superlek. Because you're always going to get 100% hungry. Nabil these days, he's young, he's got he's got like fucking all the support of all the ties and everything behind him. He's going to be hard to beat because everyone loves him as well. Do you know what I mean? So he's gonna always be there, 100% fit. He's with a great coach with Medis the two and that. Yeah, yes, it's going to be tough to beat him.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like the real Superleg. It was
Yeah.
strange. I don't know. I heard some things as well in the build up, and I was it just didn't look like himself. He looked like the whole 3 months, So I'm hoping we do see that rematch, but because you haven't got much time, so I do want to get your thoughts on some other stuff quickly. The main event, Rodtang knocking out Takaru in 80 seconds with a couple of left hooks, surprised me. I was expecting maybe 3 rounds at least. What do you think?
I thought it was going to be an absolute war. The thing is, though, that's what Rodtang can do when he actually trains. Do you know what I mean? So I when he was being like lazy recently, I think he's missed weight 4 or 5 times of late over the last couple of years, and he was just turning up out of shape. And it was just, and he was going on interviews and stuff and saying, "Oh, I only train for like a week for fights now." It's when you're the champion of an organization like one, and you've got all the eyes on you. You've got so many young kids looking up to you, wanting to be like you. It's not really the message you should be sending across. So I called him out on like, well, what's he doing? And the thing is, it's not the behavior. If imagine the champion of the UFC turning up, missing weight 4 times. They won't happen. It won't happen. Do you know what I mean? Like on any other major organization, it wouldn't happen. So he shouldn't be doing it. When you are the champion of an organization like one, you have a moral obligation to yourself, the company, the fans, and everyone who looks up to you to turn up in shape, on weight, and then perform. And the thing is, a lot of his fights were against much lesser opponents, so he could get away with turning up out of shape and not on form and stuff like that. And it was just sending a totally wrong message. And he was the highest paid. He's the highest paid Muay Thai fighter on the planet. And he would just wasn't even training or bothering because he was just getting away with it. So I like called him out on it, and he fell out with me over it. But it were only the truth, and it were only because I love watching him fight when he is this killer like he was at the weekend. When he turns up in shape, that's what he can do, and that's the only reason I said it. I said what I said, and I stand by what I said. I'm just glad that Pete stepped in, took over, and obviously he's trained his ass off himself. So it wasn't just Pete who did it. Rob Tang had to put the work in and go on the diet plan and stuff himself. So I'm glad that partnership has now been found, and I hope they stick together. And I hope he keeps the same energy and the mindset and stuff that he's had for this fight, for every fight, because he did it against Superlek. He weighed in fine for Superlek, and he looked great in that fight. even though he lost, he looked brilliant. I thought it was a great fight, and he did it for this one. I'm not sure if maybe in between when he's been getting off like these fights and matched with people who are nowhere near his level, where he might just think, "Why am I doing this? I can't be out. I don't even need to train." So as long as he gets matched with the top guys, and they are the top guys in that division now. There's Contarani, there's Jasu Yao, the Tiger, who's just been signed and stuff as well. They will give him hard fights, those guys. He will have to train for those fights, and he will have to make the weight, and he'll have to train, and he'll have to be on point. So as long as they match him with guys at his level, or even a super leg rematch at 135 over 5 rounds. I know they're talking about him fighting Haggerty next. But Rodtang was only walking around at 62, 63 kilos this week on fight weeks. I was speaking to Pete all week just to see where he were at weight wise and stuff. I was with John last week because he was up at my gym for an opening day. Mate, he's massive. John's massive when he's walking
He is,
around
yeah.
now. He's massive, and I was looking at him thinking, fucking hell, he's put some size on. So he must have been 73 kilos. And if Rodtang's walking around at around 62, 63 kilos, where are they going to meet in middle here? I don't. It can't be at 145, surely, because that's just a massive disadvantage for Rodtang. However, you can't ever write him off because he's made a stone and he can punch hard, clearly, and he's tough. But I just think that'd be just a massive advantage for John if Rodtang just went to 145. I think I'm not sure if that fight actually makes much sense. I know it'll sell big in America, but I'd prefer to see Rodtang at 135 against a 135 super leg for 5 rounds for the title there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I get why they're trying to match him with John because I know it'll sell, but I just don't see where they're going to meet weight wise. But yeah,
No, I agree. I'm not sure it's actually the fight that makes the most sense, but it looks like it's happening. You mentioned Superlek. Do you think Superlek should be going back to flyweight? Could he?
yeah. Look, he can do it easily. Do you know what I mean? If he got Pete on board and he was because if you look at how his body shape at the weekend, there were no muscles, there were no cuts. He looked fleshy. It's only he can defo do it as if he trained properly and he had a nutritionist on board just keeping tabs on him. He did it against Takaru, like that were only about what, a year ago, year and a half ago or something. He did it easily then. So yeah, I think he definitely could. He just needs to get back in the right frame of mind, have a bit of time off, let his injuries heal up because he's clearly still carrying some, and yeah, and then go from there. See where he's at. But I prefer him at 135. But yeah, I think he definitely can still do it.
Yeah, you kind of said it already, but I don't think anyone's beating Nabil as long as Nabil hangs around at bantamweight. The lucky thing is, I think Nabil will eventually have to go up to featherweight. So
The
maybe
thing is,
Superlek.
though, I speak to Pete. Obviously, me, Nabil, Rod Tang, we've all got the same nutritionist. Nabil don't even walk around that heavy. I'm sure he only walks around about 70, 71 or something
Yeah,
like
he
that,
said
which is
71 in
fucking
yeah.
absolutely outrageous, mate. So it's not like he's walking around at 74, 75 and killing himself like Nico were doing. It's a walking park for him to get down to 145 at the minute still. That's scary.
Yeah. I imagine, and I think Pete feels the same. He's 20 years old, and I think when he hits mid-20s, late 20s, his body may just kind of have to go up, right? Do you reckon he told me he thinks he might end up at lightweight? That's from the Beal himself, not just
Yeah.
featherweight, lightweight.
Yeah, but obviously he's only young. He's going to grow into his body. So yeah, like you say, 20, 22, 23, he'll probably hit the 155, and then when he gets to late 20s, he might even be that. And you might see something like he might be one of the first ever champions to win like one titles in 3 different ways because it's a strong possibility that he could do, especially if he grows into his body properly, like he's doing at the minute. Because yeah, it's scary to be fair. 6'4", and no, it's even scary that he were actually making 135 not long back.
Yeah.
Imagine turning up and you didn't know who you were fighting. Imagine turning up and going, "Oh, you're fighting him." You'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here! I'm not fighting him. He's 6'9". I don't think so. But yeah, it'd be it's just scary that if he just turned up and he were there weighing at 135.
All right, well, I know you're pressed for time. I just want to get your thoughts as well on the other big talking point, or one of them, Masaki Noiri and Tawan Chai. Were you shocked by the outcome of that fight? I don't think many people, if anyone, gave Noiri a chance, but a third round TKO.
I thought that he would. I thought Tawan Chai had beat him on points, but I thought it'd be a really hard fight for him because I know Noir is tough as nails, and he's awkward, and he come forward doing like them horrible calf kicks and stuff like that. And I thought it, Tawanchai would win on points, but I thought he'd have a rough time doing it because Noir is a good boxer, he's tough, and he does some nasty shots and stuff. I never thought he'd knock him spark out like that. It was, but I said yesterday on, I'm friends with Noir. He's a really nice guy, and I'm glad that he did win that fight because when he came to one, he had just a rough time. Them first two tight fights, didn't he? And I was telling everyone, going, "Oh, watch this guy. Um, he's going to be good. He's going to make waves." And then he came and he lost quite easily to Sitachai. And then he lost to that guy who no one knows. And I was like, shit, I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I thought, is Noari just like lost it overnight or something? And then he came back and he won. And then he's proved that he's still up there. He must have just come and just had a couple of off nights. But you know what? That how easily Sitachai beat him proved how good Sitachai is at kickboxing. Because that wasn't even a close fight, really. That was a serious performance from Sitachai. So that just proved just how good he is under the kickboxing rule set. But yeah, like I say, I am glad Noari won. Like he's a proper nice guy. Yeah, I've known him for a while as well. We fought a long time ago in Japan. So yeah, he's a good guy. I'm glad he won, and I hope he keeps the belt for a little bit and has some good defenses. Like I say, now he fights Super Bomb for the undisputed title in Japan. That could be massive for a show later in the year.
Yeah, who do you think wins that?
Do you know what? I've stopped even calling fights anymore, me, because
Same.
I ain't got one fucking right for the last 10 years or something. It's ridiculous, mate. So I've just stopped even. Whatever I think, I'm just going to say the opposite to it from now on, I think. So yeah, I can't even call it. You never know because Superbon has been knocked out a few times, hasn't he? So if Noari catches him with a shot like he caught Tawanchai with, he could go. But then again, Superbon's skill level and it's an hard one. I'm not even going to comment on it, mate, because I'll probably get it wrong and look an idiot as per.
Well, there's a couple questions in the chat. Have you got time?
Yeah, I've got 10 minutes.
Yeah, this was a big talking point as well. It's a fight that didn't happen. Marat Grigorian and Kaito. So Grigorian missed weight or didn't pass hydration in the 3 hours. He didn't come in because he couldn't piss, and then eventually came in and he was 3/4 pound over, 350 grams. And then Kaito and his team weren't happy and they declined the fight. And then Chatri just shit all over. What did you make of that? You know, what's your opinion on the whole thing?
So there's stuff coming out from all over. I'm reading stuff that Kaito's saying. I'm reading what Grigorian's saying and stuff. So it all depends on what actually happened. Fair enough. If Grigorian was late to the weigh-in, but if he did produce a hydrated sample, and if he did weigh in only half a pound overweight.
I was in the room. Yeah, he did come in. I know there's conspiracy theories that the officials, cooked it up. But
there you go. Then if that's the case, whether he was late or not, it's only half a fat pound, isn't it? Fuck me. It's not like you were 4 pounds overweight or anything, or even 2 pounds over. Half a pound. That's what I don't get. Why you would not still just go? Oh well, you fucked it up. Give me 30% of your purse or whatever you get. I'll happily take the money and I'll happily take the fight. So he'd surely got some of Gregorian's purse for him missing the weight as well, because that's what always happens. Well, usually always happens. But to then just go, I'm not fighting over half a pound. If that's the case, I sort of get where Chatri were coming from, and I don't know any fighter who would miss a fight over half a pound. Really, if that is the case, that's ridiculous. I think if you've trained for that amount of time to fight on a massive show like that, and you've put all the last 8 weeks of your life on hold, and you've been training your ass off, you're going to get on the biggest stage in Japan on that show, the biggest show of the year. Why wouldn't you want to fight over half a pound? I don't get it. That's just my thoughts anyway.
I think personally the Japanese fighters are, from my experience, are quite traditional, and they see missing weight as like an insult or as disrespectful, and they're under no obligation to take it. Right? I've seen a few Japanese fighters in one turn it down now, even if when the opponent passes the hydration after the weigh-ins. So I wasn't surprised. I was surprised by the level of Chatri's outburst, and he has apologized for it. First, I don't think we've ever seen Chatri apologize, but did you see that? What he said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would. Do
I
you
was
know the
amazed.
thing is though? I like watching Gregorian fight, so I were a bit pissed off myself, thinking, "Oh, I'm gutted. I really like him because even when he loses, the fights are always entertaining." So I were a bit pissed off myself, and I was sort of with him. But then again, I'm not the fucking chairman of the organisation, so you can't really. I suppose you can't really be saying stuff like that, can you? But I was sort of with what he was saying at the time. They are half a pound. I just can't get my head around it.
Yeah, I see everyone's side. I see everyone's point of view.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that happens. But sounds like yeah, someone. I don't know why Chatri apologized. Maybe he realized pissing off the Japanese fans is not a good idea if you're trying to blow up in Japan, or maybe he had a change of heart. I don't know, but he has
Mhm.
apologized. We'll get into it later. But one for you from Flaming Mo here. What did you make of Nadaka Yoshinari
I love him.
in the
He's
pound for
my
pound stakes? Yeah, he was good, huh?
he's my favorite non. He's the best non-Thai fighter on the planet at the minute, and he's quickly going to. I think he'll quickly soon be just the best fighter on the planet. Even in the stadiums in Thailand with 8 ounce gloves on, and fighting at the weight he fights at, it's one of the most competitive weights, and none of the Thais can beat him. He's absolutely brilliant. That fight was just a perfect performance. There were perfect footwork, perfect evasion, perfect sweeps, perfect low kicks, and then a perfect knockout at the end. I honestly cannot sing his praises any higher. I've watched him for a while now, and he just keeps getting better and better and better. Yeah, I think he's brilliant.
And Jonathan DiBella, I thought he was brilliant too.
Oh
What
mate,
was your
that
opinion?
guy is absolutely fucking. I thought Sam Ayer were fast, but he's like a lightning bolt, mate. Like you're blinking, he's hit you 4 times, and that horrible calf kick he kept doing as well. It was making me wince. That. But yeah, I spoke to Jonathan the other day, and I just said, "Oh mate, congrats, that was fucking brilliant." I really, really like watching him, and I'm not a massive fan of kickboxing. There's only a few fighters who I like I was saying, Gregorian, but DeBella is one of them. I really like him.
Yes, I thought it was a great performance, but again, Chatri seemed to be a bit critical of him in the press conference. He said, John needs to develop a killer instinct and start finishing fights. I'm not
It's
sure.
hard to, when you're fighting at that elite level of the best fighters on the planet. It's hard just to stroll in there and knock someone out. It's not easy, um, especially if like these are like the best fighters on the planet who he's fighting with every time, and it's tough, especially when you're only 56 kilos or whatever it is as well. It's not like he's the big 75 kilo guys who are carrying massive amounts of power and that. Nah, I really enjoy watching him fights, whether he's stopping people or not. I'm here. I'm here to watch him, definitely.
Yeah, I feel it's quite tough to finish Sam A. He's had 400 fights.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
only
Even
he's
when you
only
get a guy like that
McIntyre.
in, yeah, even when you get a guy like that in trouble, they've got the experience and the sneakiness just to be able to survive and get themselves back out of it. It's tough to finish a guy like that unless you knock him flat out with one punch or a big elbow like Prajanchai did. Then it's going to be tough to finish him.
All right, well, I know you got to leave soon, so just quickly, I'm going to ask you about yourself. You're coming back in Denver, like we said, 173. It currently is. It might change if they announce another show before that, but you will be in America, no doubt. What happened? Why did you decide to unretire after you did all the song and dance? I know you still had your UK retirement plan, but what changed your mind?
No, so that one was the last ever fight in the UK that I was going to do. I won't ever fight in England again. That it will build as the last dance in the UK, and I won't go back on that. Because I don't want everyone to think like, I would just try to con people out of money, then I come back and fight again a few months later. Well, this is last dance, really, honest, I swear. But one approached me and he offered me to come back, and I thought, you know what, I'm not fucking having 120 professional fights and then going out on a loss. I refuse to do it. And I spat my dummy out after that Sexan fight. But like, I'd been out of the ring a long time and stuff, and now my conditioning's back, my timing's back, and I'm faster and sharper again. And I feel like I did before I got the injury against Nongo again now. So, and the thing is as well, if I look back and when I get to like 44, 45, and I look back and think, fuck me, I still could have done it then. Why didn't I just get in and have a few more fights? Because I won't be able to do it then. I can do it now. I know I can do it. I know I'm strong. I know I'm fit. I know my body will hold up. And Yeah, and that's what if I'd look back in a few years and I'll kick myself and think I should have just done it. And then I look at guys like Nicky Olsken and Sam A and all that, and I'm thinking these guys are older than me, so there's no excuse for me to go fucking laying my gloves down and spitting them and dummy out over one fight. So yeah, I'm back.
Is it just one fight, or would you still fight again in one championship if things go well?
I'm putting no pressure on myself. I've got 2 fights left on my contract, so I'm putting no pressure on myself. One fight at a time, and yeah, I'll just see where I go from there.
And what's Isaac Araya's beef?
The guy's fucking completely insane, mate. I don't know. He just made up loads of like weird random lies, just trying to look for an excuse. But the truth is, he got flogged, and that was that, wasn't it?
This is the guy you beat in the UK.
Yeah, he's an idiot, mate. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to give him any airtime.
All right. Well, appreciate you hopping on, Liam, and enjoy the seminars. Where exactly are you in America?
Sorry. Oh, mate, I'm fucked at minute. So I got here on Thursday last week, and I've been in I've done 4 seminars in 4 different cities. So I've done Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami. I'm now in Tampa. I fly to Texas on Thursday. I've got about 4 in Texas, and then I fly to Cali, and I've got LA, San Diego, I think San Francisco, and a few other spots, and then I fly back home, and I'll start training for my fight.
A man in high demand. I understand. The legend, Liam, the Hitman Harrison, impromptu appearance on the show. Thank you, Liam.
Nice one. See you later, mate. Take it easy, Nick. Bye.
See you soon. All right. Well, I didn't expect that to happen. So that was Liam Harrison. He was watching, and then he's just tuned in and given us his thoughts on some of the big talking points from 1172 and on the fallout. So thank you again, Liam. And yeah, if you're in America, he's doing a seminar tour right now. So go on his socials. I'm sure there's a few more. Sounds like you can catch up with the Hitman in person. But yeah, what's good? What did I miss, Louis? You just missed Liam Harrison jumping on the show and giving his 2 cents on some of the major talking points from 1172. Nothing big. But yes, the Hitman tells it like it is. Yes, AV Mail. Good to see you. Chester, what's up? Saying, dude, Liam's always super cool on the podcast. Love that guy. I agree. That was fun. And yeah, I don't know where else to go from there. We kind of covered a lot of it, but or maybe I'll give my opinions too now. But yes, I'll ask some questions if you have them in the chat. There's still plenty to discuss. Mohammed Tausif asking, Nick, did Nadaka sign only for one fight? Yes, he does not. He has not signed a contract. He wanted to sign a contract, I was told, and then it looked like he was going to, and then he didn't. I think there was some things that happened. I don't know what I can get into, but I think it could happen. It could happen. I think the Japanese stars are all realizing one is maybe the place to be. You see the money you can make there. But yes, there was hope he would sign a contract, but it didn't happen. I heard he was a little bit miffed he wasn't too high up on the card, but how are you going to be higher than anything that was above him on there? I can show you now the card. Like the highest he could be. I think he was only below the title fights, the main event, and Superlek and Nabil, which was meant to be a title fight. So if that is true, then I don't know what his team or he were complaining about. He's kind of the highest of the early fights, you know what I mean? So that's strange. But also, I don't know what went on with him, but he was supposed to fight Song Chai Noi. And I've heard different things. I heard Song Chai Noi and Song Chai Noi's team turned down that fight. I also heard that Nadaka's team turned down that fight. So it sounds like those two know they're going to be fighting at some point, possibly for I think what should happen is they should fight for the inaugural atomweight atomweight belt. But we'll see what happens. Song Chanoi is on an 8-fight win streak, I think. So it was a little strange. I thought it was going to be Song Chanoi versus Nadaka. I think that was the fight they had targeted. So sorry, I'm just sorting out my mic. It's a new one. I think I ordered it and I used it once, and then I went all around the world on a road trip. So haven't really got to grips with the placement of it. There we go. So yeah, I think Nadaka will end up in one, but maybe not right now. I know that's kind of sitting on the fence, but yes, as for now, he's not signed. And there were a few others on this card who were all on one-fight deals. Obviously, Kaito and Shimon, who has fought before on Friday fights, but that was a one-fight deal, and this was another one. Shimon Yoshinari, the cousin of Nadaka Yoshinari. Another impressive performance from him, I thought, against Yodlek Pet. And Ryusei, also on a one-fight deal. I liked him. I thought, yeah, he was he did well. Obviously, Suryan Lek is not a kickboxer, so advantage was for in Ryusei's favor. But still, he looked impressive, pretty slick, and it was a fun guy. I interviewed him backstage after. I'll get that interview out eventually. I'm so busy at the moment. Just come back, but I got a million things to do. There's a lot of personal things going on in my life, which some of you know who watch already. And I think they will be coming public soon. Not bad things, good things, but busy things. So yeah, I'm juggling a lot professionally and personally at the moment. The schedule's been mad for all of 2025 and even the back end of 2024. We had a fight night and a tent pole, and then January we had a fight night and a numbered event. February had a fight night and a numbered event. March had a fight night and a numbered event and a kind of mini tent pole with the 100. So it's been a hectic start to the year. I'm kind of looking forward to things going back to slowing down after next week, fight night 30. After that, it's going to be another 3 months of just one show a month, until we hit Denver. So yeah, I'm glad things are slowing down. 2 shows a month. While it's great if you're a fan of One Championship, if you're a staff member, an official or media, it can be a little bit crazy. Not complaining at all. Love what I do, best job in the world, but it takes a toll on you traveling so much, and yeah, especially to far-flung places of the world. If you live in Thailand, it's fine, really, because you're just always there. But if you don't live in Thailand, you're flying in. It can be a little bit of a grind. But I'm glad. Although I'm also sad because I've enjoyed the return of the frequent stadium shows. Or arena shows, should I say? Having back-to-back numbered events has been really cool. And the buzz for this show. I'll finish that thought in a minute. I just also want to say thank you to AV Mail with a $5 super sticker. That's what we like to see. Thank you so much for that. You can help me out if you like the channel, if you like what I do, by also, first of all, liking this video and subscribing. If you're not a subscriber already, please subscribe. But if you really want to help me out, become a member. I think it costs something like $5 a month, or £5, or $2.50. Sorry, $25 Hong Kong. I should know their currency. I live here. It varies which country, but I took the lowest tier price because I don't want to rip anyone off. But basically, the money is just to support the channel. If you like what I do, help me out and making more great content. I have some contributors who help me make videos, especially, and I like to pay the contributors. I don't want to do it for free, and that money all helps me do that. Helps me expand, and I don't get much in terms of revenue from YouTube. So that helps. I'm also still waiting for my damn Facebook to get monetization turned on because it's crazy. I'm nearly at 100,000 followers on Facebook, which is mad. Given in November I was on about less than 1,000. So, but yeah, I still can't make money off this for some reason. Hopefully soon, and then maybe I'll get a bit more money there. But till I do, yeah, I'd love for more of you to join the channel as members. If you like what I do, it really helps. It's just a little bit of it's a little gesture. I'm trying to get some cool things going for members. I think the main thing is I do have a Discord channel where we all talk, and if you are a member, you kind of invited to the Discord channel, things like that. You get your own emojis you can use, Rodtang emojis. I'll be making more emojis. I need to really get around to that. Sorry. You get a title belt next to your name here, like you can see on Chester, and there's a few other things, but you'll see. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of a plug. I forgot what my train of thought was. I'm sorry, but thank you again, AV Mail, for the super sticker. And yeah, overall, I thought it was an incredible show. Josh or Chester here has asked, one need to address the pay-per-view situation. It's cool getting it free, but they need to make money so they can keep putting big events like they have in 2025. Use a proven format like Prime or YouTube. Agree. I don't know. Yeah, what happened to the platform that one uses, but it crashed big time during the show. I was getting messages from people saying, "Oh my god, have you seen this?" I was just a bit too busy. It was a hectic show, but I was hearing, and yeah, I could see some of the one staff, obviously, who work on that platform. They were looking pretty stressed out. So it's not their fault or anyone. It's kind of I think from what I know, that platform's outsourced to somewhere, and yeah, it just couldn't handle the traffic load. It sounds like, in a way, it's a good sign because people wanted to buy this pay-per-view. But on the flip side of that, it's sad because one have lost out on presumably what would have been a nice chunk of change in pay-per-view money. I think that is what they're trying to do, is make a pay-per-view model, putting on great shows like this, stack cards, and making some money off it. And a big gate, 2 million gate, as I said at the top of the show, 15,000 fans roughly. And yeah, but you have Rodtang Takura, you need to make pay-per-view money off that. So they didn't do it. I think, yeah, if I was one, I would explore other options of putting pay-per-views on. Yeah, someone said in the chat Prime, but Prime's only really in the US, Canada, and UK, things like that. There are other options. DAZN, I don't know, one have never really gone near DAZN. YouTube, you can, I think, run pay-per-view events on there, but I'm not entirely sure how. So or the other option would be, making a members section on their own YouTube channel and charging people like a monthly cost. And if you have the membership, you can watch the pay-per-views on there. So everyone has YouTube, right? Well, we'll see where one goes. I think the problem I heard was, Keith is the one who pointed it out. Keith in the chat, who is a member, by the way. Everyone become a member like Keith. Help me out. He was saying, because he understands computers and things, it's kind of his job, software man. I still don't know exactly what Keith does. He's mysterious, but he was saying he thinks the problem was because they have these geolocation restrictions on it. You have to choose which country you're in, or it detects what country you're in. That kind of makes a lot of processing power, I think, and it complicates everything. So that might be the issue. They're charging certain prices in certain countries. So I would recommend just making it a flat fee across the board. But yeah, the problem is that like if you've got millions of fans in Thailand, they're not going to pay 40 USD for the card, whereas a lot of fans in the US will pay that much. So interesting debates, I'm sure, will be going on right now about what the best way forward is. But you know, it's on the face of it, it's just terrible, and it can't happen again. It looks bad. You know, just the great thing is it was an awesome show in every other regard, and I think what's good to see is it's still. I don't think the pay per view stuff has really dampened it. It's actually caused a lot of good buzz, and I think people have been talking about it. They're still talking about it. There were a lot of talking points, you know, and this Kaito stuff's rumbling on, but I think there's a lot of positive talk about it. And, you know, some Keith as well, again, pointed that out, you know, they were talking about it on Morning Combat. Brian Campbell and Luke Thomas shared some of the videos that I put on Twitter, which is cool. Thanks to Luke and Brian for sharing those. But it shows that, you know, they're one of the top 5, I think, podcasts on or in all of combat sports, you know, in America, maybe top 2, the top 2 or 3. It's like Rogan, Ariel, and then those guys, I think. So, you know, they're serious journalists. I used to work with Brian at ESPN. He's a real journalist. I respect Luke Thomas a lot as well. Love both those guys. So yeah, it was cool that they were watching, and they had positive things to say. Often, I think they, you know, when the US combat sports media cover one, they tend to only have negative things to say a lot of the time. But this has been mostly positive despite the pay-per-view issue. I think the good has outweighed the bad, and that's a huge bad. So that means there must have been a lot of good. That's my take on it. Balgador, Nico on Morning Combat, make it happen. Yeah, I'd love to. I think they had Tim Wheaton on to preview the show, and a good choice because he is a real expert in kickboxing. And I wouldn't have been able to provide any actual insight on any fights. But yeah, if they would ever want any reaction or anything, I would love to do that. I did talk to Brian to BC about that last year before the Rodtang was supposed to fight Takeru at 116, whatever it was, 5, 4, 5 in Tokyo Ariake Arena, and it sounded like they might want to do it, but then Rodtang pulled out, so I think they lost interest in the event, which was funny because it actually still was a massive event with the Super Leg Takeru fight, and I think it caused a lot of buzz. But oh yeah, I'd love to. I haven't really spoke to BC since that, so I won't bother him. But if they ever wanted me on, I'd love to do that. That would be super cool. And I'll look at some comments here. Nicola, can I just say, when Chatri put the belt on DiBella, it looked like he had just tossed it on his shoulder nonchalantly. It looked strange to me. Yes, I kind of noticed that from where I was sitting. I think Chatri was in a bad mood, it's fair to say, with the pay-per-view situation, and he definitely was in a bad mood in the press conference. So I imagine around then he had to make a decision mid-event to like give this show away for free on YouTube, basically. So I don't think he's got any personal beef with DiBella. I know in the press conference he sounded like he did by saying, you know, DiBella hasn't finished anybody, he needs to finish people. But I think it was just constructive criticism from him. It just probably came out a little bit harsh. Mm. I don't think John was bothered about it. I saw John after the show when I went into his hotel room with the team, with his parents, coaches, the family, and Peter, obviously his nutritionist, Peter Miller, and our video guy, Giuliano, who also works with Pete. So it was really fun. Yeah. John was chilling. He's just such a cool, laid back guy. So he wasn't bothered by it at all. I think he's happy. I did raise the question to Chatri whether they'll do Prajanchai and John in Denver like John wants, but he said he'll do that fight, but he didn't say anything about Denver. But I'm not sure DiBella and his team will take it in Thailand. So I think there's going to be some back and forth now. I mean, it may be a while before we see that fight, to be honest. But that's fine. I think John's had two back-to-back fights. He's been fairly active. Given the first couple years of his time in one, he was very inactive. Not through his fault, but he was doing one fight a year basically. But now he's had 3 in 9 months, I think it is. Prajanchai, Rui, Borteo, and now this Same. So maybe John wants to take a little break, and they can do that fight later in the year. They're definitely going to have to figure out a venue. I don't think John will do it in Thailand. That's I know they don't want to do it because they weren't happy, still not happy from losing the first fight. They think the decision was wrong. A lot of people think the decision was wrong. It's a very close fight, obviously, yeah. Nick, NG, what's up, NG? Say, Nick, on the one podcast, make it happen. Well, I'll just be getting Thai. Yeah. So either you or Frank's going to translate for me, NG. So maybe it can happen. I did kind of joke with Frank about it, and he said maybe it could happen. But I thought, yeah, maybe I could be on the. They did a pre-show thing in Tokyo, and yeah, if they do those things for the big shows, maybe I can get on one of those. That'll be fun. But we got this. Do we need it? We got my own live streams back, so I'm happy to just talk to you. I love the community we have here, and I'm sorry it's been a while. Hopefully, I can make it regular again. So yeah, I will try and get through the rest of the card quickly. We sort of talked about it with Liam, the big fights, and we didn't talk about Yuya Wakamatsu and Adriano Moraes, so I'll just give my 2 cents on that. Yeah, I was very surprised by the result. I thought Adriano would win. No disrespect to Yuya, just given we've seen them fight before, and Adriano kind of caught him with the guillotine. But it's Rick Orti pointed out to me. Yuya was doing quite well before he got caught. For me, when I saw very early on Yuya stuffed a couple of takedowns, it reminded me of a fight. Derrida versus Malakin, the first time they fought in Manila, when Derrida just walked up to Malakin and he grabbed him. He tried to shuck him and take him down, and just Malakin stood there like a tree, couldn't be moved. Yuya basically did the flyweight version of that a couple times to Moraes, and then once that happened, it was very early in the round, and I looked at the clock. I was like, oh well, Moraes has got more than 3-4 minutes here to survive on the feet against Yuya, and I think Yuya's stand-up, he's got more power, I think, than Moraes. I know Moraes has also got hands. He's a very complete mixed martial artist. He's obviously knocked out DJ, but Yuya Wakamatsu has got scary power, and if you can't get him down, he is very dangerous, and I think he's been just working on that side of his game, and he showed it, and he shocked the world. First round TKO. I didn't see that coming. I put a stat out as well. I think it's the first time in more than 6 years the flyweight MMA title hasn't been with Adriano Moraes or Demetrius Johnson. So a new era in One Championship's flyweight MMA division. Happy for Yuya. He's always had a lot of talent. I think we saw when he fought DJ, he gave him a real test in the first round. So that was, my first ever One Championship show. It was in Tokyo, March 2019, a new era. It's literally now coming full circle. It is a new era for Yuya Wakamatsu. I just thought of that on the fly. What a segue. So congrats to him. Nice guy. He's always got time for me. I've always got time for him, and I think we respect each other that way. You know, I love Adriano as well, though. Another guy who's always had time for me, and I've always had time for him. I don't think he ever gets enough shine, and same with Yuya. So I wouldn't mind seeing a trilogy one day. I think Adriano is going to have to go away and lick his wounds a bit. Probably a very disappointing one for him because he's looked great. Other than the DJ fights, he's really kind of. I mean, the first DJ fight obviously looked incredible. The second one, I thought he was winning the fight until he was knocked out. But it's been a tough few years for him. He looked good against Danny King, but yes. Now, what do you do with that division? It's a weird one because all you got is really Reese McLaren. And Reese said he wanted to leave one championship. He wants his release, but I don't know what's going on with him. So I'm sure if you offered Reese a title shot, he'd stay. I think he's already sniffing around for it. I never thought Reese really wanted to leave. I think it was just emotional, and I understand that, as an emotional person myself, who has had outbursts at people who do not deserve them. I think Reese I think he was feeling emotional because he didn't get this title shot. He felt he was passed over. He beat Jared Brooks. He thought he deserved to face Adriano for the vacant belt. And Yuya beat a newcomer in Gilbert Nakatani and got the shot. But Yuya was ranked above him at number 2, and I think it was number 2. And Yuya obviously is Japanese, and you're building a Japanese card you want to sell on pay-per-view. Let's not mention that. But you want to sell out Saitama Super Arena. So yes, I get where Reese is coming, but I think if they can patch it up with Reese McLaren, Yuya and Reese rematch for the belt is a good first title defense for Yuya. Let's see what happens. But yes, Reese is called for it already. Story of the fight says, okay, let's see. Sam Cat, 3 Muay Thai titles are vacant. Yes, there are some very vacant belts right now in one championship. That was a great card, CFR Network says. I agree. Moraes versus Kairat, says Connor's Corner. I don't know what Kairat's status is, whether he's still with one championship. And Yuya versus Reese makes sense. Yeah, I agree with Yuya and Reese. But Kairat, I don't know what happened after his suspension, whether he's still around. Right. I'll quickly finish the rest of the card. Petjija and Kana. Petjija, I'm not sure what this was. Was it Kana kind of fighting above, or Petjija fighting below, or a mixture of both? I thought Kana had her best performance by far in one championship, much better than we saw her against Mexon, and then is it Moa Carlson? She beat to earn the shot. Petjija got it done, unanimous decision. But I thought Kana gave a good account of herself, and she was very sad afterwards. But Petjija said she didn't perform to her best, and it's been a while. She's been out for a long time. I think it's over a year, is it now? Or just about a year, yeah, since she fought. I might be wrong on that. I'm going to double check. Yeah, she fought Janet Todd March 2024. So yeah, just pretty much a year, just over a year. That can always be tough, the ring rust element. But she's also left Venom training camp and Medi's too, who is the master, I don't think she looked the same without Medi. And I think she'll admit that herself. I know she feels that way. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe she can come back to Venom. Yeah, I mean, but it's funny. Even on one of her worst days, she still looked very good. And I'm not sure anyone beats her in kickboxing or Muay Thai at atom weight. The fight, obviously, to make is her against Alicia Rodriguez. She called for it in the ring. Alicia is more interested, when I spoke to Alicia, in going for Petjija's kickboxing belt. So maybe that'll happen first. I don't mind that either way. I guess Alicia could still do the fight with Shia Cohen as well. We'll see what happens. We did Super Leg, obviously, and Nadaka, Folayang, Shinya. I love this. Shinya I think it was about 53 seconds, armbar and Edward. Love both these guys, veterans. They also fought on the first card I went to one championship, March 2019, New Era. Aoki sub Folayang again in the first round. So nothing's changed in 6 years. Well, but yes. I think Edward, love him, legend. I'm not sure what he's got left to prove. 41 years old. I think, it might be time for him to bow out, but I know he just loves it so much and he's never going to stop. So, but if you look at the record now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses in his last 10 or 11 fights, I think. 11. Yeah, it's just I know it's difficult to stop, but I think Edouard's purpose in life now is he's moved into this coaching role really well, and he's leading the Lions Nation gym and bringing up the new gen. I think that is what Edouard should kind of focus on now instead of fighting. And Shinya, he's an odd cat. He took his gloves off and put them down, and everyone was kind of wondering whether he's retiring. And then I interviewed him backstage, asked him, "Are you retiring?" He says, "I don't know." He was very cryptic. I think he was just trying to troll everyone. So he's always been like that. Shinya is a funny guy. But he's still very much talented. And I think he could stick around. He didn't close the door on fighting in one championship forever, but I think I heard he tweeted a few things after that about Chatri, so he's probably closing the door on one. Could go elsewhere. We'll see. A very interesting man, I will say. And whatever happens to him, good luck. I know he's gonna keep doing his pro wrestling. It's been an honor to watch him in one, and yeah, total legend. I think he should go in the Hall of Fame, but I don't know if that'll happen given he seems to be quite critical of one championship. So he's not been happy the last few years. He's been inactive and he's kind of been offered more grappling fights, I think, than MMA. So I think the best thing that could happen is for Shinya to leave one. And yeah, I don't think he's happy there. So, and I think Edward, yes, maybe it's time Edward hangs up the gloves. But I think Shinya could still go somewhere else. He looks very fresh still. Depends on who he fights, but he's an incredible athlete. Okay, Lineker and Akimoto. Split decision was a bit surprising. I thought the right decision, obviously, Akimoto. I don't have too much to say on this fight, but John does what he does. I think he did well in the first round, but with that, it's the same as with Kulabdam. Technique tends to tell when you fight these really high level strikers. So it's same as with Kulabdam in the Muay Thai fight. Akimoto, if you don't get them out of there quickly, Lineker, like he did with Asa 10 Pow, I think they start to warm up and pick him apart a bit. So there it is, another sport for John Lineker. I wonder what we'll see him in next. Grappling, who knows? I'd like to see him in MMA again, but seems like he's just doing kickbox or Muay Thai. Probably back to Muay Thai for John Lineker. But yes, he's always fun to watch. But Akimoto back in the win column, he's had a couple of bad decisions against him, so I'm sure he's happy with that one. And we'll see what happens. There's some interesting fights for him. He told me he doesn't know if he deserves the title fight with Haggerty yet, but he thinks he can beat him. I suggested maybe a Pettenong rematch. There's Wei Ray rematch you could do. There's plenty of things for Akimoto to do. Adrian Lee, no surprise here. First round sub against Takaharu Ogawa, who failed hydration, but I don't think he ever had a chance anyway. Incredible. Adrian's looking really, really good. I know the guys they're matching up with aren't top talent, but yeah, he's completely destroying them. It's the right way to build up someone that age, I think. But it could be time for Adrian to have a bit of a tougher test. Someone in one championship, not someone a debutant. I think he's fought 3 guys, 3 debutants. So let's see. I don't really know right now off the top of my head a name that would make sense. But yeah, just hats off. I can't say enough. I spoke to him after. We talked about Cade, and he thinks he can beat Cade. So I think that's the fight. Maybe not right now to make, but within 2 years, it's probably going to happen. Maybe 2. Depends how fast they want to push both of them in MMA. So Christian Lee was also there. Spoke to Christian a bit. Nice guy, always. I got Christian's thoughts on what's coming up for him next. And yeah, that'll be on my YouTube channel very soon. Hopefully tomorrow, if I get time to upload all these videos. I got about 6 or 7 interviews, but I just haven't had time to get around to it. Shimon, very impressive from him again. I like what I see. Hopefully he signs with one, but maybe he just come back, keep doing one fight contracts. Hugh as well. I loved Hugh. Destroyed Zachariah El Jamari. Felt bad for Zachariah. It's kickboxing, just not his thing. And you could tell, I think they had kind of set Sirianlek and Zachariah up for fall these first 2 fights to get the crowd going with a couple of early wins for Japan. Sirianlek did the best he could, but yeah, I don't think either El Jamari or Sirianlek had much of a chance here. Keep Sirianlek, especially in Muay Thai. He's extremely talented, but the thing with Sirianlek is he keeps missing hydration, and I just don't get. He's so small. I don't know how he can't make it. I think Moses and the Zhang boys need to get with Pete with the condition, nutrition, because yeah, Sirianlek, that's back-to-back fails for him on big shows, and you keep doing that. I don't think they keep calling you for those things. So yeah, and it was a catch weight as well. That's I think it was originally a catch weight, and then it became a different catch weight. So yeah, not sure. Ryusei, like I said, I really liked him. Right, like to look at him. Okay, those are my thoughts on the card. Kind of Liam gave us his thoughts on these other ones, and I don't want to bore everyone by like going back over them. But if you guys have thoughts on the big fights, please tell me what you think or what you thought, and I will chip in my thoughts. Nicola wants to see Adrian Lee and Ruotolo both 3-0. Yes, I think it could happen. It will happen. Definitely time for a step up, but nothing too crazy. Dude mixes it all together better than most. Adrian Lee, that is. Story of the Fight says, I wish they would keep these build-up can crush fights for amateurs fighters on Friday fights. Anonymous says, and Mohammed Tausif, how loud was the arena, Nick, when Noiri dropped Tawanchai? My goodness, it was loud. It's hard to describe how loud it is. I have a video of it, which I can't show until April 6th because of pay-per-view guidelines, which very strict. Immediately there, we were kind of sworn to secrecy. We're not allowed to post any stuff because of the pay-per-view. But I still see it popping up everywhere. Hopefully some people got there. I know Liam actually got a copyright strike, I think, on something he posted from the show, Liam Harrison. But yeah, I didn't post any videos. I did take some videos. I do have a video of the Noiri TKO. It was so loud. I can't describe how loud it was. I don't know how loud it came across on camera, but the crowd are very, very quiet in Japan until something crazy happens. Then they go crazy, and yeah, it was a guttural roar. It was madness, emotional, just honored to be there and witness it. Incredible finish. Connor, are the pay-per-view guidelines still in effect since they gave the whole thing away for free on YouTube? Yes, because of the Japan pay-per-view. So I don't know, maybe I could post some stuff and geolock it in Japan. Maybe I'll get away with it. But I don't really want to risk a strike or anything at this point. After building up these channels the last 6 months or so, I'm happy to just play by the rules. But yeah, April 6th, so another week or two, I can post some clips. We'll see if anyone still cares about it then. But Story of the Fight says, I was hoping they'd lift that embargo since they put the whole thing on YouTube. I have one of us and Phil reacting to Noiri. I look forward to seeing that. Japan event. Yeah, I should have seen my reaction as well. Japan event was without Ayaka Mayura. Is suspicious. Vegan says, yeah, I thought she would have been on there. I guess the card was just already quite full up, 15 fights. Also, no Tsuki Hirata. Mohammed says yes. But I don't know what's going on with her. She hasn't. She talked about possibly retiring last summer when she lost to Victoria Souza. So I'm not sure what's happening with Hirata. Where are all the interviews of this event? Anonymous says, I have a bunch of them stored on my camera. I'm gonna get through them in the next couple of days. And then the thing was they held back about 8 people for the press conference. So, and when One Championship live streams a press conference, there's no point really in me uploading that, because who's gonna watch my shitty one compared to the quality stuff? I did record it, but I was also quite far back, and it just doesn't look great. So I'll put some clips out you've seen on my Twitter maybe, or my Instagram, interesting clips. But if you want to watch the post fight, I would just recommend going to One's YouTube, much better. But I've got interviews with everyone else I'll be uploading. I've got Ryusei, I have Hugh, I have Shimon, I have Adrian Lee, Hiroki Akimoto, and Shinya Aoki, and I've got Christian Lee. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. How was FIFA with Rod Tang and Pete? Yeah, so after I went to John DiBella's room, I went to Rod Tang's room because Pete also obviously worked with Rod Tang and has developed a bit of a bromance with him, and we went there. And yeah, it was surreal. Just spent a couple hours playing FIFA in Rod Tang, in his room. His wife was there, and I don't know who the other people were. Yeah, Rod Tang has just got this entourage of hangers-on and people, like random characters, but I guess we were a part of it. But yeah, it was fun. Pete played Rod Tang, an epic match, 5-4 victory for Rod Tang, I think it was, after extra time. And I played him, and yeah, it was a beatdown. It was a massacre. 11-1, I think he won. In my defense, I haven't played FIFA in years, and I had to make do with. So normally when I play FIFA, I set the controls to. This sounds like an excuse, but I guess it is. But I grew up playing Pro Evolution. If you're of a certain age and you had a PlayStation and you were a football fan, you would know what I'm talking about. There were 2 football games. There was Pro Evo or Pro Evolution Soccer, and there was FIFA. And often people were kind of one or the other. I was always a Pro Evo guy, and Pro Evo had a different control set. Like the buttons were different. So eventually, Pro Evo got overtaken by FIFA in terms of the quality of the game. FIFA used to always be kind of bad, and then Pro Evo was the real game. If you were a real fan, you were Pro Evo. But eventually, FIFA had enough. EA, they had enough money. They overtook Pro Evo, and So I migrated over to FIFA. This is what a tangent this is. And then but I always still used my Pro Evo controls, so I would change the controls. I had a custom control set. What an all-time excuse this is. So when I played Rodtang, I haven't, like I said, I haven't played for years. I couldn't even remember my custom control set. And one of his groupies, kinda I mentioned Pro Evo, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do it for you. I know what you mean." And then he set something up, but he just didn't do it to the correctly. So I was struggling to figure out how to change players, how to run, how to slide tackle, how to shoot, da 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 da. I'm not saying it would have made a difference, but I don't think it would have been 11-1. I could have kept the score to single digits, I think, with the controls. But yes, he kicked my ass. It was bad. He was just, I thought he might take mercy on me and let up. Just went for the kill. I guess that's Rodtang. Yeah, he was just laughing. Every goal going in, he was dancing, and you could tell he plays every day, I think, which is probably a good thing. It probably keeps him out of trouble. But yeah, that shout out to Rodtang and his wife for letting us all sit in there and play. They were packing up because they were heading to Mount Fuji the next day. I've seen some pictures. It looks like they're having a great time. So yeah, a lot of people hate Rodtang, and I've criticized him in the past, but he can be a real charming son of a gun. Yeah, he's really nice. And like Pete was saying, when he dials in and takes everything seriously and does the conditioning right and the nutrition, he looks unstoppable. So I think, yeah, the Rodtang we saw on Sunday against Takeru was the most dialed in I've ever seen him, even more so than the Superlex fight. So I want to see him keep that up. Yeah, I want to see him. I think one have to keep giving him, like Liam said, really strong opponents who he can't take lightly. So Haggerty, if that is the next fight, I don't mind that because I think he'll have to take it seriously, especially up at bantamweight. Because, like Liam said again, Haggerty is huge for that weight class. But great to hear Liam and John have patched things up, and I know they shook hands after Denver last year, but it sounds like, yeah, they were hanging out, so it wasn't a fake patching up. Yes, FIFA Street was a fun game. It was, Nicola. NG, I'll be seeing Tawanchai in 2 weeks. Hope he's feeling better then. Would be awesome to see him in America. Where are you seeing him? But yes, Tawanchai, that was a shock. But to give my thoughts on Tawanchai, maybe I will give my thoughts on the other fights. Let me get it back on screen. Sorry, it's been a month since I used this, and they seem to have changed everything in the month I've been gone. Like, they've overhauled the whole thing. Right. Tawanchai and Nori, yeah, I was surprised, but not surprised in a way because, yeah, Tawanchai's never looked good in kickboxing rules for me. He looked hittable against David Kiria until he broke Kiria's arm. And then you remember the Joe fight. A lot of people thought Joe won the first Joe fight. A lot of people thought Joe won the second fight, but the second fight was Muay Thai, first with kickboxing. Tawanchai admitted after that Joe kickboxing fight that he's not familiar enough with the rule set. And then to throw him in against a legit kickboxing assassin like Noiri. I know Noiri had some confidence issues in one. So it was a great matchup. I expected Tawanchai to win, of course. But what I'm saying is maybe we shouldn't have. Yeah. I'm not sure Tawanchai is built for this rule set. And can you imagine if it was Chingiz Alazov? I think Chingiz would have, yeah, feasted on that. But all props to Noiri. It's a really interesting outcome now, and it's a fresh matchup, Noiri and Superbon. I don't know who wins that, to be honest. Depends where they do it, I think. If it's in Thailand, maybe you give Superbon the edge, but he is looking a little older. And yeah, Noiri, just confidence will be flowing right now. Takeru, I was sad for Takeru. Noiri came out and said Takeru suffered broken ribs and broken sternum, I think it was. 2 weeks before the fight, which is incredible if that's true. Because I'm not sure how true it can be. Like, because they do stringent medical checks for all these fighters. But who knows? Maybe it's a little exaggeration. But if props to Takeru if he was injured, for saving the show, he could have pulled out, and it would have been a disaster. That would have been worse than the pay-per-view not working, to be honest, because I think then, yeah, it's still an extremely stacked card, but it was hooked on that fight, and to have it fall through a second time would have been monstrous, but it didn't happen. So let's see. I think Takeru should go and heal up if he's got these injuries. Come back later in the year, like maybe you take him to Denver. He likes training out in California, which is not too far. You could give him the right opponent. I think you need to give him a name, but someone beatable. Let him get his mojo back. Someone that's just enough of a risk that makes you wonder whether he's going to win. Yeah, and if he wins, you could maybe start thinking about going back to Rod Tang again. Why not? It would probably still move tickets, but he might need 2 wins. Who knows? It depends. He was asked about retirement, and props to Takeru. He came into the press conference and he fronted up to the media, and he didn't have to come in, but he did, and he said he was asked about whether he's going to retire, and he said, "Now's not the time to make a decision. He'll go away and think." And I saw him briefly backstage after that. He had his own dressing room, and kind of had a little wave at him, and he looked pretty down. But I didn't want to bother him too much. But nice guy, didn't go his way. Rod Tang just looked incredible. Who knows? I don't know whether it was Takeru just his chin's gone, or whether he was not the right physical or mental shape. But it was a real shock that DiBella, Sammy. I don't have much to add. I do think DiBella just looked incredible. I know we talked about with Liam, and yeah, the thing of him needing to get finishes. I do agree. I've said it as well. If he could add knockouts, he would be one of the biggest stars in one championship, because he's starting to get acknowledged for his cool factor. He's a very nice guy as well, but he's just so quick, so stylish in the ring and out of the ring. So if you can add knockouts, good, but it's not easy to knock out guys like Sam A and Prajan Chai. Rui Botello is tough as nails too. Jang Paiman is tough as nails. And he dropped him with a head kick, but I guess you could say maybe he could have finished Daniel Williams, because Daniel's been finished a few times by people. But Daniel's also tough, and Rodtang didn't finish him. So sometimes it's tough to finish these guys. But yeah, I do think Chatri's constructive criticism, shall we say, had some merit to it. The way he delivered it was a little maybe strong. But like I said earlier, he was perhaps a bit pissed off from the pay-per-view situation. Superleg and Nabil, yeah, we've kind of covered that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to add, but but what I would say is I think Nabil should be the champion. It was a crazy one. Yeah, I was at the weigh-ins. I was surprised Superleg missed. Perhaps we shouldn't have been, given his injuries and things and all the drama. But Nabil, it's just a bit unfair on Nabil to have made weight, having won an interim belt, and then to have the fight be non-title. It is strange. It is strange, but nice scoop for me on Bangkok Post. I hope you guys saw it. But Yeah, I spoke to the boss man, Chatri. I was on the bus heading to face off, so after the weigh-ins, and gave me the goods. So I was a bit shocked, but I think Nabil. I thought they were just going to see what happened with the fight. If Nabil won, they were going to then say, "Oh, by the way, Nabil's the new champ." Or if he lost, got knocked out, just kind of be quiet about it. It's a very awkward situation now because, yeah, I just don't know why the belt is still vacant. I guess there's probably some small written loophole in the rule set, which is why this has happened. But what Chatri said basically, yeah, Superlek refused to fight for the belt. It had to be 3 rounds. So weird one, weird one. I don't know why. Yeah, the Kaito thing was mad because like I said, I saw Marat come in and do the hydration and the weigh-in and stuff. So I don't know why people were bugging about it so much, but I understand. I understand why Kaito didn't want to take it. I don't think he can be blamed, but yeah, I'll share this. So not too long before I started the stream, they shared it a statement from Chatri on the Japanese One Championship website, I think it was. So I got a translation. It basically says this: like all fans and officials, I was looking forward to the bout between Marat and Kaito. Gregorian passed hydration test after the time limit, which put him 350 grams overweight. At this point, Gregorian was penalized. 20% of the fight purse given to Kaito. Um, when a fighter is less than 1 pound overweight, the standard response in the world's major mixed martial arts organizations is to negotiate a bout at a catchweight. Naturally, I was disappointed when Kaito declined the bout. However, as the CEO of One Championship, it was inappropriate for me to express such feelings in a press conference. I sincerely apologize and formally retract my comments regarding Kaito's lack of courage. Kaito is a highly respected champion in Japan. So yeah, originally Chatri had kind of some harsh words to say about Kaito, to say the least. I was shocked. I was in the press conference and he was just unloading on Kaito. Chatri normally is quite reserved in those situations, but he just went in. Go to Bangkok Post if you want, and you can read my work if you like to read. I know not many people read anything these days. Just watch the tasty morsels on social media. But yeah, these are the quotes Chatri said. When a fighter wants to fight, they will fight. One's chairman and CEO said, when a fighter is afraid of their opponent, they will find a reason not to fight. The biggest underdog on the entire card was Kaito. I'm not surprised he took the easy way out. If the weight differential was very big, then I agree. But in this case, it was half a pound. When a fighter is scared, they find every reason not to fight. I've been in this business a long time. I've seen it every time. But to be clear, Kaito got paid in full. I don't think he deserves it. I think Kaito should fight in a smaller promotion. Yeah, pretty strong stuff from Chatri. I was surprised he said it, but then I was even more surprised he apologized. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's had a change of heart. Maybe someone has said, maybe you shouldn't say that. We need to play ball with Japan because it's a big market for us now. So I don't know. But yeah, weird one. But it was fireworks. That press conference was amazing, and I know. Yeah, I think they had more than 1 million people watching it, which is huge. Shows how much interest there was in the card. Again, shame the pay-per-view thing happened. Hopefully, we get Kaito and Marat again soon. Maybe April 15 card at Impact. Chester says. I don't know. This may have been an attempt, the apology, to get Kaito back and do it. Those were wild comments, and she says, "Yeah, I agree. Not gonna lie, I don't even think Chatri was wrong with his position." Austin says, "Yeah, a lot of people actually agreed with Chatri. I think if you're, a J-Kick fan, they tend to side with Kaito, but a lot of people were saying Yeah, 350 grams the guy should have fought. And like I said before, I see both arguments, and I don't think there's a right or a wrong. NG thinks, I'm sure Chatri wanted to be nice to Japan. Sure, he didn't want to throw away what everything they just created with the show. Anonymous wants Chatri to apologize on camera, not with a PR statement. Some strong feelings, yeah, about this. It's touched a nerve, definitely. Story of the fight. PR team has to be shocked with that statement. I'm glad he put this out. Shows some growth. The apology, I mean. Yes. But yeah, keep your eyes on. I don't know what this is. Bunch of adverts. I don't know how to get out of it. But yeah, this is the link for my stuff. Go to bangkokpost.com/sport/one dash championship. The link is in my bio. You can just click that on my Twitter, my Instagram, Facebook. But bookmark this page. Help me out. Read my stuff. Here's my exclusive again today. One championship with the 2 million gate, 15,000 fans. If you want a bit more info on that one, go read it. I'm pretty old school, I like to write articles. I know it's not the done thing anymore, but I still think there's something cool about an article. So go read those on Bangkok Post. Help me out. Yeah, some juicy details there. I've got the Superlex stuff. This was wild as well. I asked Chatri that question straight off the bat, and he went into it. Nabil and Chatri had a bit of an animated talk afterwards, and I could sort of see Chatri motioning. I think I heard him say, "What the fuck were we gonna do?" Or like, "What were we supposed to do? What the fuck were we supposed to do?" Like, and I agree that if Superlex said, "I'm not gonna fight unless it's 3 rounds, non-title," I don't think they made the wrong decision. It's just kind of tough on Nabil. But anyways, yeah, I'll have some more stuff up there soon. So check it out. But what else to talk about? I think I've kind of covered everything in a roundabout way with the help of Liam, the Hitman, Harrison. So what else? That was the big extra story. Chatri and his apology. Yeah, just if you have anything you want to talk quickly, put it in the chat. But I'm just scrolling down through my Twitter feed to see if I've missed anything. So I was going crazy on Twitter that night. I was on fire. I was just throwing out content. It was mad. I was really in the groove. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love it when you have a big show and everyone's into it, and you're getting all those interactions. It's just great. It's tough because some of the fight night shows at Lumpini are doing all the same stuff, but yeah, just people aren't into it. The cards aren't as big as I love these big cards they do. And I was saying to Story of the Fight, I think, in the Discord. So if you want to get involved in the Discord chat, become a member, and we take the discussion offline and we all talk. But yeah, we were chatting, and I said, if one could put that level of show on every month, there'd be no question that they're like the biggest competitor to UFC. And the UFC is far and away the number one, but I think there's a huge bunch of organizations trying to be the clear number two, and I think one could already have a claim to be number two, but they definitely they don't just do MMA. Obviously, they do Muay Thai, kickboxing. I think they're the clear number one striking promotion, hands down. But I think their MMA has maybe fallen off a bit in the last few years because of the focus on the striking. But if one held these level of shows, what I'm saying, every month, like they have been doing in 2025, yeah, it would just be we'd be talking about a legit like promotion war between those two. So the buzz was huge. It was bigger than the UFC show, the London show. I think I didn't see more people I thought were talking about this than that. So yeah, they got to find a way to to do this. I think, you could do Japan certainly 2 times a year, maybe 3. You gotta do Impact Arena at least twice a year, maybe 3. You got Manila. I think they need to head back to Manila. That's good for 2 cards a year. You got I just wanna see them go back to the arenas in all the old strongholds. I wanna see them go to Kuala Lumpur. I wanna see them go back to Singapore. But Singapore's a tough crowd, it's not really a fight town. But I think Kuala Lumpur, you could get people in now with Johan Ghazali. Philippines is always a big crowd, and they've got champs now. Again, they got Pasio and Denise Samoanga. And then, yeah, where else? Indonesia, they used to go to, I think. Jakarta and China. China's in play as well. Yeah, I would just love to see one doing the stadiums regularly. Maybe even come to the brand spanking new Kai-Tak Stadium in Hong Kong, which I'll be going to this weekend for the Hong Kong Sevens. Maybe. No, I'll be at the Sevens, but I don't know if one would ever come there. I think there's many fans here that they could fill out 50,000 seat stadium with. Better off in China, I think. Mainland China, shall I say. Hong Kong is part of China. Okay. Right. Yeah. I think I've covered most of my stuff. I'm sorry if I've forgotten what I was going to cover, but if you guys all want to chat about anything, say it now. One would do so well in Europe, Austin says, if they put Haggerty on and Nico and Liam Harrison. Yeah, I'm really surprised they haven't gone to London yet or Manchester or somewhere. Really surprised because I think they have the roster now to do it really. Paul also wants to see one come to Europe. Connor says if they can get to the point they're doing big numbered arena shows once a month, we'd be cooking. Yes, agreed. Great use of the word laurels. Story of the fight. 100% though. Yes. I don't even need one. I don't even compare one to UFC anymore, Connor says. The kickboxing and Muay Thai clears MMA, in my opinion. Official Louis says, I say this every show and I'll say it again until I listen. One needs to return to Singapore. Yeah, it's just difficult. Yeah, I don't know, because it's, to be fair, the last few shows I've been there have been in the morning. But maybe the night shows would fare better. But it just doesn't seem like the fight crowd out there. I don't know. Maybe if they had some big Australian stars, you'd get the fly-ins. Like I think UFC had a lot of Australian fans fly in for the UFC shows there. But who would you get from Australia to be in one championship? I don't know. Where the hell is Christian Lee? Lee's at SCMP. Yeah, he was. Yeah, me and Andrew Whitelaw both spoke to him. Both got an interview, so maybe there's interviews up on there. I'll put mine up tomorrow, hopefully. But he told me, yeah, he wants to do welterweight next, and it sounds like to me it's going to be Kazakhstan. But we just don't know when. The time is now with UFC resting on their laurels. Story of the fight says, yeah, I think that's what we were talking about. Yeah, me and Will. UFC's kind of happy to put out average cards right now, and I think people are starting to really drift away from it a bit. The UFC's always going to have its its hardcore fan base, but mainstream stars wise, I think it's in a bad position right now. When the takeover happened, whatever, they were bought out. You still had John Jones regularly. You had Conor. You had Ronda. I don't know if Connor's ever coming back. I don't think so. Ronda's gone, long gone. John Jones is right at the end of his career now, and he was not even the strongest of those 3, I think he was the 3rd in terms of pay-per-view buys. He was good for like a million buys, I think. But Conor would get you more, and Ronda would get you more. Khabib was good, but he retired a while ago. So I don't think they have the mainstream stars anymore. The UFC is the star, the brand, and there's only so long that can happen, though. I think before people kind of wise up to it, and yeah, now is the time. I think one has a cool product when they focus on their the what they've done with Muay Thai and kickboxing is incredible. I think they've conditioned people to see these fighters as stars who 2-3 years ago, people who were hardcore fans of the sport obviously loved them, but I don't think they had this wider appeal. But now you've got MMA fans tuning in to watch Nabil or Superlek or Rodtang. I mean, Nabil is a big one. They've helped. They've grown. Obviously, he's got like some freak characteristics, which is always cool to see someone that tall, like Liam was saying, who can fight these guys. But yeah, they've done a great job just making, I think, the sports of Muay Thai and kickboxing in one championship seem like a big deal, because they are. There was a time when I started covering it, MMA was the top dog in one, and kickboxing and Muay Thai, even though you would have potentially like higher level athletes and fighters fighting, people weren't interested in the fights. Like, that was the piss break. People would be there for the MMA, for the Angela Lees, the Onglas, the Falayangs, the Bellingons, the Bibianos, the Martins, the Christian Lees, it was like it's a completely different time. They've done a great job of kind of tapping into I think the hardcore Muay Thai crowd and the hardcore. Well, obviously the hardcore Muay Thai crowd, like a lot of them hate one because of the 4-ounce gloves and the tradition thing. But I think they're winning over some of them, and there are some people who just don't care, and there's some who are kind of new to Muay Thai because of one and kickboxing. Yeah, I think they've been able to get some of the kickboxing fans. Also, some of the Japanese kickboxing fans seem to be a bit snooty about one, but I think they're still been able to find a strong foothold there. And but yeah, what I'm saying is the kickboxing and Muay Thai are now the stars of one, and I think they've been able to create big events that get mainstream attention among the MMA and UFC, let's be honest, community. It's the kickboxers and the Muay Thai guys that are doing this. It's the Rodtangs, the Keros, Nabil, Superlek. I would keep saying them because I'm just looking at a poster in the corner of my eye that has all their faces on. But there are others, obviously. Stamp obviously is MMA, but yeah, Tamon Chais, yeah, Super Bonds. They're the ones driving this interest, and that's a cool thing. I think one should lean into it more. And I could see one day where they may no longer have MMA and grappling, but maybe not, because I know Chatri loves the grappling, and MMA is like good for if you want to break into the US. You kind of need MMA. People are familiar with it. But I just see a gap in the level of you have really high elite level kickboxers going at it and Muay Thai fighters, and then the MMA you still do have some very high level, but I'm not sure it's like the equivalent. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I think the MMA level dipped a little bit. It might be fair to say, but anyway. So what I'm saying, if yeah, I could see one day where it's just the best striking promotion, and it's just all striking. Maybe they bring in some boxing, do away with grappling MMA and the ground elements, but what you're getting right now is incredible striking. Any nuggets about new events or fights? We'll take anything. Well, I haven't really thought, but um, maybe I'll do another show later this week. We can think about other stuff. My brain is so fried. Sorry, I'm really tired. Yeah, it's nearly 1 a.m. here too, so I won't hang around much longer. I'm sorry I missed a load of comments earlier, but I hope you all still had fun. How often would you like to see stadium shows outside of Thailand? Official Louis, who is a member. Thank you, Louis. I think it should be every month. Bang, 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 and forget these Lumpini fight nights. I know they have a contract with Amazon for a monthly US primetime show, but it's just it's not doesn't hit the same. Um, and I hate the morning element. Not ideal. I think it's much better to just go to a Japan or Impact Arena, go to a Saitama Super Arena, Impact Arena, and do a show in the prime time of that country and sell it out and have 10, 12, 15,000 people there and create that atmosphere. That's what causes the buzz, not the timing of the show. Like this show was at 2 a.m. I think it started in America, but it had a lot more people talking about it than any of the Prime Video time zone cards that like the fight nights have had for a long time. So maybe ever. I mean, obviously it was a much bigger show with a way bigger budget, but people were still talking about it. So I don't think you need to have these shows so early in the morning. And I don't know what the solution is. I think if you're gonna do the prime time US stuff, you need to just have an operation in America, you know. But that's tough. That's tough. Austin, one has the best MMA rule set and scoring bar none. Would legit be sad for them to get rid of it. Christian, Adrian Lee are future superstars. They need to put the machine bending them now. Yeah, yeah. I think the MMA they still have like some really good fighters, some big stars and future stars, but I don't see the depth in any of the divisions anymore. You know, it's sad. It's sad because there was a time, yeah, like I said, there was a time not long ago where MMA was the star of the show. MMA is too slow for me, For Lewis says. Make MMA only cards, Vegan says. Uh, Austin says, I came into one purely as an MMA fan. I used to hate the striking matches, but God hear me when I say they sold the product to me 100% by now. I never miss a Friday Fights card. One is peak. Yes, exactly. This is, yeah, what I was saying. I was similar to you. I came into one for the MMA and then I've just been converted now into kickboxing and Muay Thai fan. So shows the product works. I think they got to keep plugging away. More shows like this, 1172 will do the trick, and 1170 in Bangkok. I think 171 was a bit MMA heavy in Qatar and but it didn't have as much buzz, right? The January and March shows had way more buzz, and they were Muay Thai heavy and kickboxing heavy. So, right. Do you have the Fight Night 30 card? Yes, somewhere. But maybe I'll do a separate show on that later this week. Preview. Yeah, heard UFC pay-per-views are down big time as well. Most of the champs are boring wrestling now. Yeah, the pay-per-views are down. Yeah, it's just pay-per-view is a tough model, but UFC have kind of always been able to keep it going, but even they're struggling with that now. But I think that's not obviously they've had problems, issues, technical issues with ESPN's app, but um Yeah, it's not what it was in terms of having the pay-per-view draws. UFC's selling nothing in regards to pay-per-views these days, Story of the Fight says. What I missed back from lunch, Combat Sports today. Missed everything. You missed everything. I'm about to end. No, Singapore's a tough crowd, Louis says, because nobody's waking up at 5 in the morning for a show at 7. If it's a numbered card at night, people would actually come. Yeah, I'd be intrigued to see if they did a prime time show there. You stack it up with the right people. Stamp Fairtex, I think. Christian Lee. They definitely both need to be on that. Probably Zhong Jingnan would come out. That's one that they might do MMA heavy, but I think actually people there want to see Rodtang. And they do love Ongla as well. You get Ongla on there. But I think even in Singapore, these places that they've kind of conditioned before for MMA, I think they'll turn out more now for the Rodtangs, the Superlex, than the Beals. You know, Takeru, if you put him on there, I think they fill that stadium. But I could see them just kind of going MMA heavy with it, like they did with Qatar. It might not be the best way. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong. They might have access to data which tells them MMA is the right way to go. They did that in Qatar. Any news about Denver fights? Any news about kickboxing tune-up for Stamp return title defense is too much? No news. Yeah. I've been focused on this show, so I'll get my ear to the ground though. We'll see what we can find out. If we can get to the point they're doing big numbered arena shows once a month, we could. Oh, I read that one already. I liked it so much I read it twice. Thank you, Connor. Oof, the show transcends time slots when it's this good. Story of the Fight says. Definitely, NG agrees. I watched the show at a Muay Thai camp. 15 plus people showed up at midnight to watch all the way until 6 a.m. That's it. We did a stream from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Story of the Fight says. Decent amount of people in America watched with us the whole way. We did a recap show 3 hours later at 9 a.m. Most of those Americans tuned into that as well. Damn, didn't sleep, huh? Yeah, I didn't get much sleep either. I think I went to bed at 6 a.m. in Japan time after my FIFA exploits with Rodtang. Got up about 10:30 to check out. Yeah. It was a weird one, the whole trip, because I hadn't really been... I mean, it was like 10 years to the day almost that I had first gone to Tokyo as a wide-eyed 28-year-old, I guess it would have been. And that was the first big trip of my life. I remember it vividly. I then went to Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Sevens, straight after that. After like a week in Tokyo, had a week or something in Hong Kong. Then I went to Singapore for a bit. I had a brother living there at the time, and then I went back to Hong Kong. And but yeah, so it was quite a spiritual return for me to where I first went when I went to Tokyo. We were in Shinjuku. We were staying there, so I walked to the Golden Guy, late at night, like midnight or something. It was freezing as well. I was totally in inappropriate clothing, like shorts and a thin hoodie. But yeah, I kind of went around, and it just wasn't the same vibe as it was 10 years ago. And I guess I kind of realized, you get older in life and get more boring. So it was a trip of personal growth for me. I learned a few things about myself. But I'd like to go back again. It's just when you have a fight week, it's so tough to do anything other than work because you're so dialed in, and I don't think it's the time for tourism or fun. It's still fun, but it's a lot of work. Anyways, yeah, Will from Story of the Fight definitely didn't sleep. Homeboy was running on fumes by the end of the recap. Oh, I don't doubt it. I need to check and watch those shows. I'm sure it's better than this recap. They do a great job. I try and jump on with them if I'm available when they do it. Obviously, they live in America. I live in Hong Kong, but I missed this one because they did it at 9 a.m. straight after. But yeah, maybe after Fight Night 30, they'll have me back. All right, I'm gonna get out of here because it's coming up on 2 hours, and that's absolute max I can do. And it's getting really hot in here. It reminds me, the press conference was exceedingly hot. Felt really bad for Frank because he had to wear a suit, but he was sweating buckets, I could see, and I was in shorts, obviously, you know me, but I had quite a thick, I had an Oxford shirt. I was dripping, boiling in there. Yeah, it was a fun one, that press conference. Kind of hostile atmosphere again, just like last year. Chatri went in hard, and some of the media there didn't seem to like it, and they were battling a bit, bumping, whatever you want to call it. Bucking antlers, is that the phrase? Like a couple of stags, but yeah, it was just fun to watch. I love when things like that happen. One of the things I live by is controversy creates cash. It was said by the great Eric Bischoff, who used to run WCW, and which was a major competitor to WWE at the time, or late '90s, early 2000. I don't know how long it lasted, like to 2001, but there was a time when WCW was it's well documented. They were kind of outdoing WWE in the ratings every week. But yeah, his favorite thing is saying controversy creates cash. I think it does. It's when Chatri says crazy shit like that, and when you have these talking points, like some people will think it's negative, but I think it's positive. People talking about it, it causes a buzz. Like, everyone was talking to me about. It seemed like about the super leg weight miss. That was huge. It was a shocker, and everyone was talking about the Nabil title situation more so than like the Rodtang Takeru fight, because Rodtang made weight. That was fine, but sometimes when you have something that seems negative, it's not. I mean, it's just caused a lot of buzz, the good and the bad. Even the pay-per-view stuff has caused buzz. People are talking about one championship. Hasn't always been the case. There's still buzz right now. I think embrace it. Embrace the crazy. But yes, Cool of Them is back on Friday Fights 2 weeks from now. Yes. Yeah, I was talking to someone about that on the way back from the arena. We were both so fried, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be there in a couple of weeks for fight night, and I'll come down to Friday show. Who's on?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't even remember." 'Cause we were both so brain dead. But he said, "Yeah, I think Kulub Dam's on it," and there he is. They announced it today against Ferzan Cicek, I think is how you pronounce it. Frank is so goated. The contrast between him and the Japanese translator is legit night and day. Well, to be fair to her, I think that was her first time. And she was very nice. I had a good chat with her. It's difficult when you come into the weird world of one and you don't really know the ins and outs. Like Frank's he's done 102 shows, Well, this will be his 102nd Friday, plus pay-per-views and fight nights and things. So maybe 150 shows. I don't know. But yes, no matter what, Frank is still the best translator. The Japanese translator did a great job as well. Fits the Japanese culture while Frank works for the Thais. But in terms of energy, it's Frank. Says energy. Frank's the best ever. No one is as passionate as him, Connor. We'll end it on the Frank love. Okay. I love Frank too. Yeah. But I love all of you too. So thanks for tuning in for 2 hours. Wow, that flew by. I guess we had a lot to talk about. I'm going to go away and sleep now. have some big announcements coming up tomorrow. I think it is. So some of you already know, but yeah, I'm happy about it. But yeah, I'll be back maybe this week. Sorry, I'm just dead. Can't use my brain right now. Okay. I'm going to say bye before I stay for another hour or two. All right. Good night. Talk to you later, too, guys. And yeah, all the best wherever you are in the world every time. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe, be a member. Why not be a member? Help me out. But stay tuned. I've got a bunch of video interviews coming up tomorrow, too. And then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, 1172. What a crazy, crazy show. So much to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry, it was a little bit late. I tried to do it yesterday, but I just got back too late and went straight to bed, which I'm going to do now. All right. I'm ending it now. I'm stopping talking. See you later.